Alright, folks, turn 11. Preparations for the attack on Aurum are proceeding apace. We're recruiting some Moss Knights here. We started to recruit some Moss Knights and Markata down here. Now, Markata will lower the morale of the squad pretty significantly, but having the chaff might be valuable still. I think I'm going to skip the Markata. I think I'm just going to go like that, and then I'll use the gold down here to get a couple of Moss Knights still going on down here, because I still feel like I need more units. So, Moss Knights, Moss Knights. We've got 3 Moss Knights. We're recruiting an Atavi Chieftain. 2 turns to D-Day. I could actually go in next turn, but I would do so without my leadership since I moved Noth away to site search this province. I could move him back, but then I'll just have wasted a turn moving a Snail Shaman around for no reason, which galls me. I'm not recruiting anything at home because I'm building a temple with Manhelte in Sitha. I don't want to risk Manhelte. I don't want to send my Mothseer into combat. I've recruited Hector Stark, the heavy cavalry, and his 7 buds. They've all got pretty good experience. They're good flankers. They do decent damage. This guy is, wow, beating the crap out of him. Weakened. Yeah, we've got some afflictions going on. This guy's cursed and crippled. Oof. Rough. But still, they'll still be good. They'll be good flankers. They'll be good distractions. We've got a pretty decent lineup of troops right there. Just a few units back here, not really worth bringing up. Up here, of course, we are going to end up with about 40 units all told. I don't have any other really good units to recruit. I could recruit a couple of Great Stags or maybe a couple of Indie Heavy Infantry. I could get 2 Indie Heavy Infantry if I cut down on something else. Might as well. Can't hurt nothing. There we go, 2 Indie Heavy Infantry. And we're leaving Bugsy Seagull back here. He's going to search because he can hop across and actually join the army here in Rim Mountains with no trouble whatsoever. We've got scouts infiltrating further into Anor London territory, and we should be able to make a pretty big wave here. Actually, Bugsy Seagull can hit that province if I really, really wanted to. But I don't know if there's something going to be in it. My main goal here is to make sure that Bugsy Seagull does not get caught out alone and murdered, which is otherwise very possible, especially as we're pushing into enemy dominion. Over here on this side, we've got we're building our lab. Fortress will be done upgrading next turn, and we'll start recruiting from here as well. We've got Stark here, the Pathfinder, who is moving over to Ulm in order to try to infiltrate them. Jerus, our Pathfinder there, moved off of Dranglake and is kind of bustling around searching. And Ornum's troops have left entirely, so we will be won't have to deal with them for right now. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So far, everything seems to be going pretty much to code. We are doing okay, and I think our armies will be fine. I have my armies here. I'm hoping next turn he should see that palisade pop up, and he'll think, oh, he was just keeping guards on his palisade, which hopefully that'll be fine. Now, this army up here he may see and worry about. But we'll find out how it goes. I think we can. I think this is a war we can win. I think my expansion has been good enough. My income is good enough. My scales overall are pretty good. And in random events, I got a whole bunch of gems this turn, which is fantastic. Dranglake has proclaimed Jesus Christ Superstar to be their prophet. Good for them. Didn't find any magic sites in Wolfenplain, but to be expected when all you're searching for is one path. And if I can build up enough Astral Pearls, I may actually have enough to remote site search for Astral later on in the game, which would be pretty hilarious. Monomon is still sitting back here by herself, providing almost half my research. Going to hit Conjuration level 3 next turn. Then we're going to book it down Enchantment to... not Evocation, what am I doing? Then we're going to book it down Enchantment to Enchantment 5, so we can start imbuing Soul Warriors. We'll need Construction as well before we can actually thug them out effectively. So I'll have to get that going on. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. Construction 4 will be enough to let me forge basic gear, frost brands, things like that. Basic pieces of armor with my earth mages and nature mages. Basic with my forest mages, my forest shamans. Since they can random, half of them are nature 2, so I can forge rings of regeneration or Hydra skin armor, that kind of stuff. Hydra skin armor is actually level 6, but rings of regeneration are level 4. So as long as I build up a little bit of nature gem income, that should be fine. And yeah, as soon as I get my temple, I can start recruiting forest shamans here. I can start recruiting regular snail shamans here, and I can swap here to primarily soul twisters and maybe a few forest shamans, just for the sake of it. And down here, of course, I can also get forest shamans. So we'll have lots of nature access. We'll have some death one, and we'll also have mountain shamans available. I'll actually start recruiting mountain shamans here probably, because this place I'll need for the I'll be building the forest shamans down here. So that is the current plan, and it should be a good one. Well, we'll see how good it actually is. We'll see. It kind of depends on how many troops Anor Londo has managed to build up. Given that I think their expansion has been more limited than mine, shouldn't be all that many, but they may have gotten out to here. If they've gotten out to here, because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 provinces on the island. If they got 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They could, if they expanded really well up here, have comparable provinces to me, but I don't think they do. I'm gambling based on my feeling that Anor Londo has not expanded as well as I did. Based largely off the fact that I was able to take Rame before they did, and Rame was not a particularly hard province to take. So, makes me think they ran into some difficulties earlier. Similarly, Drangleic, I know, has expanded much, much more poorly than I have. And I think, especially based on the fact that they just promoted a new prophet, I think they ran into trouble 5 or 6 turns ago and lost an expansion party. And of course, I know that that Orym bumped with Anor Londo last turn, and Anor Londo will have lost some troops in that fight. So, we'll see how it goes, but it should be good. Should be fun. Should have a good time. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 12. Alright, folks, it's Hallownest, it's Mirrorpoint turn 12, the Hallownest game. Traditionally, the point at which you stop and kind of take stock of your position. Now, that's actually a bad idea. So, here's the thing. I'm all set up to invade Anor Londo, right? And I can go in and I can fight them, like, pretty easily here. Might even be able to knock out their fort before it builds. However, I've just been invaded by Drangleic. And it's hard to know how to handle that exactly. So what's down here, odds are pretty decent that I'll lose what's down here. Because, you know, I've got about 90 units. That army in Dubros, we can view that battle. That army in Dubros has a big old line of sacreds up front, the Cyan Knights, high protection, and they have built-in thunder weapons, which is a very, very good ability. This is actually fantastically good. They don't have much of a bless otherwise. They've got shades, archers, Drangleic infantry with bows, and Deer Tribe archers behind. They've also got a couple of soul smiths, 2 soul smiths, 2 high clerics, and they have Vilstadt the Royal Aegis, who is a hero, who is a priest, and he's a death and astral mage. He's got this sacred chime hammer, which does a ton of magic damage, and full plate. So he's quite tough. They're mainly spamming Mind Burn. They did get a blessing off, and so we can see their bless. They got a blessing off on somebody. Yeah, these guys are blessed. Magic weapons and magic resistance. So their magic resistance is very high. Mine, of course, is very low. And they're mind burning my indie chaff here. And they have a national spell that throws the Thunderbolt, called Lightning Spear. And I'm not sure how much damage it does, but it's flying over there, let's see. Didn't hit anybody. I don't think any of the Lightning Spears hit anybody. But so they do have a national Air 1 evocation that those high clerics can use. So this is an army of about 70 units. The Drangleic infantry is not exceptional in terms of siege strength. The Cyan Knight's a little higher, and he's got 28 of those. The Royal Aegis has 3 siege strength. So this army can close to bust down a palisade. On top of that, they've also got more Cyan Knights and more Ogres down here, so they're going to crack this place in 1 turn. So I'm actually going to run, I think is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be able to hold this fort, and instead I'm going to demolish the fort. So that being so, Drangleic is going to take this territory from me, I think. which is really very frustrating. However, I was all set to invade Anor Londo, and I'm worried that Drangleic will bring Anor Londo into the war anyway. So I think I'm pretty much going to go ahead with invading them. Like, these forts, I think, can successfully hold off Drangleic, especially if I recruit a bunch of flyers to jump into his back lines. Over here I've got the Great Sentries coming out. So the Great Sentries can provide a frontline force that can survive being mind burned, despite having low magic resistance. Nothing else in my roster can survive being hit with a mind burn. And, yeah, I think I can probably hold him, especially because I can have magic support, I can bring my Snail Shamans, and crap out a bunch of elementals. And they can also help add punch to the front line that is hard to kill with astral magic. That said, this might, like, Drangleic might be able to roll over me. That's a pretty significant army. I just really think Anor Londo is going to attack me. Like, I can barely picture them not. And furthermore, if I deploy very significant armies to fight Drangleic, I'm going to take really, really heavy casualties. Because they have Mind Burn. And Mind Burn will work extremely well on my Great Sentries. I'm kind of in the position of, like Ulm versus the, Ulm versus the Marverni, where they can definitely spam units that can really, really hurt me bad. What I'm going to do up here is I'm actually going to spam out a ton of warrior bugs, but I think I was all set to go in against Anor Londo, and I'm really worried, and Haerdalas, another of the players, has informed me that he knows that Drangleic was trying to pull in Anor Londo to fight me. So, like, that could easily happen here. And this army, they're building a fort there. If I let them get more established, it will be harder to kill them later. However, of course, if I don't, if I go in against them, then of course I'm not defending myself against Drangleic. And so, if I get double teamed this early, I'm probably just going to lose. So, I can't decide what I have to do yet. I'm going to have to do some diplomacy. I'll get back to this when I do, because what I need to do is, I need to make sure that I can secure a non-aggression pact from Anor Londo. Because otherwise, if I can, then I can turn and fight Drangleic. If not, then I have to go in against Anor Londo and kind of use my troops that I recruit to hold Drangleic at Ial. Which, like I said, I think I can do. I've got quite a bit of money, so it'll depend. So give me, it'll be a few minutes here. Okay, so diplomacy done. I actually have a non-aggression pact with Anor Londo. Basically, I contacted them and said, look, Drangleic is attacking me. I can't afford to be trapped on both sides. I have the military to probably take you out really quickly. So either we have peace right now, or I have to go to war. And they said, no, a non-aggression pact 3, that sounds fine. So we're doing that. Which means all my armies are now shifting towards Drangleic. Now, I can have, in this province, quite a few troops next turn, and then, of course, more troops flooding in after that, including this army. We'll pick up some more troops, and we're all just going to kind of storm across here. In terms of map move, all of my units should be able to skip this province in Arime and hit Dubros. So I should be able to do this without getting any diseases, which is great. That means I'm leaving troops here. I have 33 fort siege defense here, plus the 100 walls, so I can probably hold out for one turn, which should be long enough for reinforcements to start arriving. Don't know if I can ultimately hold Wick Forest. I'm going to have to make that call next turn, but for right now, this is going to be the plan. I've also changed my research goals. Enchantment is, of course, where I want to go for Soul Warriors, but for right now, I want to hit Evocation level 3 for Acid Bolts and Fireballs, so that all of my Shamans can do that. I also already have Conjuration level 3, so I can spam Elementals pretty effectively, and that should help some. So, that is the plan, and we will see how well Drangleic's troops do against mine. So that's turn 12, and I'll see you all in turn 13. Alright, so it's turn 13 of Mirrorpoint. My armies are assembled. We are going on the counteroffensive against Drangleic. They're going to break my palisade next turn. They have a pretty significant army here in Wick Forest. We can view that battle real quick. they've got... It's a pretty significant but very varied army, interestingly. They've got 2 national heroes. Velstadt the Royal Aegis, and Jesus Christ Superstar, Raimi, they've renamed him, who they've made their prophet. In fact, I think these guys, they might start with these guys? They just made him the prophet last turn, I know. He's diseased for some reason, but being diseased does not stop them because these guys, the High Clerics, are disease healers. So that's really unfortunate, honestly, but it means that the disease won't really affect them. They've got their bunch of mages here. They've also got a big old line of Scion Knights, who are pretty good. They've got a whole bunch of Drangleic Infantry Archers, and then a whole bunch of Deer Tribe Archers in the back, as well as quite a few Shades, who of course are ethereal, and so are excellent chaff. They also have this Steel Strength attack, which inflicts weakness and magic resistance negates, which means I'm extremely vulnerable to it. And their magical strategy here is spamming Mindburn. They're Drangleic Soulsmiths. 1, 2, 3 of them are all spamming Mindburns. This guy's throwing his special lightning spell, and this guy, I'm not sure what he does exactly, but he casts Frighten. So spamming Mindburn, they're effectively killing 2 to 3 bugs per round with Mindburn, and they rout me off very, very quickly. So yeah, it's a pretty substantial army in terms of numbers. It's a little bit fragile, but then against him, my army is also quite fragile. And of course, he does have the Royal Aegis and the Royal Blade, both of whom are extremely powerful combatants. That said, I think once I fight it, I can probably take him on. Now, I've got Hector Stark. I'm rehiring him in order to have all that heavy cav there. I've got my block of 25 units here. Up here, I've got about another 50 units all told storming in. And I've got my 3 mages here scripted to summon lesser water elementals, as well as Noth. Noth is also scripted to summon lesser water elementals. And in fact, I'm going to give these guys a bunch more water gems each, because right now I have a lot of water gems, and they don't do me any good unless I use them. So we're going to give 8 water gems each. I'm also sending Bugsy Seagull to hop to Dubros and take it over. He's going to cast just a couple of lesser fire elementals to serve as chaff, and then he is going to spam his Radiant Blaze. He's just going to start throwing magical fire damage at people, which will be very effective. And since he has magic resistance 20, especially, he can certainly support my armies. This is all in my dominion, which means that he has extra HP and stuff, so he'll be just fine. His magic resistance is, yeah, it's 2, +2 in this dominion. It'll only be +1 down here, but still 19 MR, more than enough. So, the goal here is definitely going to be to retake Wick Forest, which I think we can manage. I think we can do that. I could really use some kind of an elemental resistance for Bugsy Seagull, which I don't have any options for. So he's just gonna kind of have to depend on what he's got. Up here, 1 turn till this fortress is done. I'm moving a shaman to build a temple up here, so I can start recruiting snail shamans up this way as well. I'm also recruiting a Hallownest captain to grab a whole bunch of Hallownest lancers, who are of course the flyers. We're getting a turn of recruitment here, and then I think I'll also shift over to Hallownest lancers down here. In fact, I may do that right now, just because with these Hallownest lancers, I can grab this Hallownest captain that I'm talking about. I keep pressing the wrong button, who has 80 leadership. I can grab these guys, hop down here, grab 2 turns worth of recruitment from them, and hop right down with a big old flying reinforcement group that can jump straight onto the enemy army and give them limited opportunities to mind burn me. Meanwhile, up here I'm recruiting, well, more Hallownest lancers. And so I'm going to use those as a big old fast-moving emergency reinforcement. I need to keep recruiting that mountain shaman, I think. I'll recruit a Hallownest captain next, though. Probably 2, actually. Just take a short break from mages in order to do that. I still got my scouts pumping out here. They are slowly infiltrating Anor Londo. You can see Anor Londo does have quite a few troops, primarily Silver Knights, so it wouldn't have been a super quick war in any case, and it's just as well that I've made peace with them. I will, however, be planning to push Aurum off this island as soon as I solve the Drangleic situation. Now, can I save Wick Forest? That is the question. Unlikely. He's got a lot of units. I only managed to get 1 turn's recruitment of Hallownest Lancers, so I have relatively few. I don't know that I can stop him here. In fact, I think I probably can't. Probably going to lose this. So what's going to happen is my army's going to move down there. I am going to have to move through in a remake, I think. I may be able to... Actually, if I take it and Dubros, I can jump straight to Dubros and avoid getting diseases on the rest of my troops. When I gather all my troops, I think I probably can beat his army back and take Wick Forest back. Especially if I can put him under siege immediately and prevent him from recruiting or summoning anything else. But it's gonna be a little bit tricky. In terms of siege strength, I do have an advantage in that my knights and my great sentries have high strength, and so they can break down walls very efficiently. So I should be able to gather the siege strength necessary to knock down the palisade pretty quickly, even over the objections of his army. And if possible, that may mean that I can catch his heroes and kill them both, which would be fantastic. And of course my flyers, my Hallownest sentries, which I don't have any of here. These guys, of course, also have very high siege strength for their cost because they are flying, and so they can, my Hallownest Lancers, rather. And so they have that going for them. So what I'm thinking is that guy, 1, 2, and then with 22 move... 34? Really? The wood, I guess. Do I have a Hallownest captain anywhere? So what's your, yeah, lucky. You have 22 map move. Yeah, so I won't be able to hop straight from there. So I'll need to make a couple of hops. Go down like here. Actually, no, because flying... What happens if I take these guys out? Then what's your movement cost? Yeah, they can. He can hop from there straight to Wick Forest. So 1, 2, you will be able to get there for the siege. That will be amazing. I'm just gonna have you guys attack closest because you got to push forward through the mind burns as quickly as possible. And you guys are gonna hold an attack rear in an effort to let the infantry advance a little ways so that they don't getting too close. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be the plan such as it is. Now, I don't think he's using any gems. I don't think he even has any gems on his mages, actually. So there's not really any point trying to gem bait him. Gems, no. Gems, no. Gems, no, and no. Gems, no, and no. Yeah, he's not using any gems. So I think I can... Yeah, I think I can basically just fight. So... This coming turn, going to take that province, hopefully also take that province, unless something very bad and unexpected happens. Turn after that, he will storm Wick Forest and capture it. The turn after that, and that turn I'll also move down here. The turn after that, I will counter-attack with all of my forces, which will include these 50 units, whatever's left of these 30-some-odd units, my god, and... This is going to be, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Recruiting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So it's going to be about 40 Hallownest Lancers as well. Will also be jumping onto Wick Forest to help. So that will be a pretty significant army. And I think I can do some real good with that. I can also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get these 8 as well. Yeah. That might be worthwhile. Might be worthwhile to get those guys. I'm recruiting more Moss Knights down here just to have them help. And I'm just leading them with these little Atavi chieftains or what have you. Monhelte is going down there to site search. And yeah, overall I think we're going to be doing okay. I will hit evocation level 3 in a couple turns. And once I do that, I'll be able to throw acid bolts at his Scion Knights. Excuse me, nearly choked for a second there. So Acid Bolts will do a number on those Scion Knights because they are just humans. They have high protection, but Acid Bolts burn through high protection very, very efficiently. And so they should be able to do quite a bit of damage if and when I can get into kind of evocation range, as it were. So that's the plan for this turn. We'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit frustrated with this whole thing, but I mean, I guess it was expectable, I suppose. He's probably going to take that province too. And we'll see how we do. I think I can stop this army. It'll be a question of how fast and how thoroughly can he reinforce. I don't have scouts down here because I was kind of caught off guard by this while I was pushing scouts into Anor Londo. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. In any case, I'll see you all in turn 14.